that only an hour can make that much of a difference.
And it happens every year, and we're still not ready for it, ever. Ready for this, though. Look outside. It is just gorgeous out there today. Meteorologist Caitlin Cody has a quick check of the forecast.
Absolutely stunning on this Monday. We've got sunny skies. Temperatures will be nice and warm, pushing into the 70s today, although it is going to be a touch gusty. We could see winds around 25 to 30 miles per hour throughout the afternoon, but you can see from our regional view of satellite and radar how quiet it is for Chicagoland. Here's your day planner. Temperatures right around 71 degrees at 3 p.m. still. Beautiful conditions, slight uptick in cloud cover expected southeast of Chicago as we head on into this evening, perhaps a touch of drizzle, but the temperatures still will be lovely at 6 p.m. around 70 degrees. Heading into your Tuesday, all eyes will be on the potential for severe weather, especially in the afternoon, the evening, and tomorrow night. We have the chance for all hazards, including tornadoes, damaging hail, and damaging wind. Our Storm Prediction Center's outlook does show that orange color, enhanced risk, level 3 of 5, from Chicago Point south, and a slight risk north of the city, level 2 of 5, for tomorrow. So make sure you have multiple ways to receive warnings, especially later in the day tomorrow. These storms could roll through even after the sun goes down. I'll show you the timing of the wet weather when it finally moves out ahead.
A man accused of killing a bar owner in Moments just pleaded not guilty.
Julius Burks Jr. is accused of killing Courtney Drysdale inside the Line Bar last month. Police say he was seen on surveillance video demanding money from Drysdale. She handed it over, but police say he shot her anyway.
Police are looking into a home invasion in Winnetka. It happened last night near Rosewood Avenue. One suspect showed up pretending to be a food delivery driver when the whole crew pushed inside. They held the victim at gunpoint, demanded something specific. The victim did get away and call for help. The crew took off in a black Acura SUV with no plates. Know anything? Hit up Winnetka police. One person died after a car flipped in Marquette Park. The crash went down inside the park this morning. 3 others were hurt, had to go to the hospital. No word yet on what caused this.
We now turn to the Middle East. Iran is effectively blocking a significant percentage of global oil shipments as that war is intensifying.
No sign this fight will end soon. Iran just named a new leader as well. Rebecca Castor is in Washington with what's next.
Iran's new supreme leader is expected to be more extreme than the last. And now the U.S. is considering a special operation to secure the country's uranium.
Israeli and Iranian forces continue targeting energy sites across the Middle East, helping to send oil prices surging past $100 per barrel. Though the Trump administration says the spike is short-term.
This is not about lack of oil in the world. This is about a transit issue. You're going to see in the weeks ahead oil starting to flow out of the Strait of Hormuz.
But there's no sign the war will let up after Iran named the son of its late supreme leader as his successor. Mojtaba Khamenei will now make decisions regarding Tehran's nuclear program, and the regime says it's ruling out talks with the U.S. while the fighting continues.
We can do nothing other than defend ourselves and demonstrate our determination and will to resist.
It comes as a new Axios report says the U.S. and Israel are considering sending special forces into Iran to seize its stockpile of near bomb-grade uranium.
Most of the material is expected to be in the interior of the country, so a lot of things could go wrong.
Meanwhile, there's reportedly mounting evidence that the U.S. could be responsible for a deadly explosion at an Iranian girls' school last month. The building was located next to a Revolutionary Guard base. President Trump says the White House is investigating.
We think it was done by Iran because they're very inaccurate, as you know, with their munitions.
6 Democratic lawmakers released a statement condemning that strike and are calling for an impartial review. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox Chicago.
Meantime, the bodies of 6 service members killed by an Iranian drone strike in Kuwait are now back home. The president and vice president saluted the caskets during the dignified transfer at Dover Air Force Base, that's in Delaware. President Trump called their deaths a very sad situation.
As the war with Iran rages on, oil prices have now surged past $100 a barrel. That's the first time that's happened in more than 3 years.
Saquon's here with what this means for your wallet. A lot of pain.
Yes, a lot of pain for sure. Well, the gas you use, of course, to fill up your tank is made from the oil that's produced by countries near Iran. And as this war in the Middle East continues, this means gas prices are only going up. Now, when there's a war, oil fields and storage sites can be attacked, which we already saw happen with attacks to several Iranian fuel fuel sites. Tanker ships also limit traveling during this time because it is so dangerous. Iran has also closed the Strait of Hormuz, which is where about 20% of the world's oil passes through. It actually makes it one of the busiest and most significant shipping routes in the world. Therefore, any disruption to traffic through there can have huge impacts to oil shipments. Right now, the spike in gas prices in the U.S. really all comes down to supply and demand. When supply goes down but demand stays the same, prices go up. But given the current climate, with war making it harder to produce and ship oil right now, that means the world overall gets less oil, which also means the gasoline you use to fill up your tank becomes more expensive. People across the country, including right here at home, have really been feeling the strain as they fill up the tank. Right now in Illinois, it'll cost you an average of $3.52 per gallon for regular gas. That is slightly higher than the national average, which is $3.48 a gallon. Today, we also heard from the International Energy Agency, which has called for a coordinated release of emergency oil reserves to cut down on some of these prices. Finance ministers from the G7 nations, however, say they have not yet reached a deal. So we will, of course, be on watch for that.
So you're talking about supply and demand. Okay, the weather's getting nice. Spring is here. Summer's coming. Demand is going to be high very soon.
Yeah, especially you think about spring break travel. A lot of people deciding to road trip somewhere. Gas price is not looking too good right now.
All right. Thanks, Safe.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Senators Dick Durbin and Tammy Duckworth want the FAA to spend new money to fix air traffic control shortages at O'Hare. That's from Cranes. FAA's got $12.5 billion set aside for air traffic control from last summer's spending package. At the same time, the FAA wants to cut flights at O'Hare this summer. The FAA says major airlines overbooked, and cutting flights could help prevent delays and cancellations.
The effects of the shutdown of the Department of Homeland Security are now being felt at airports across the country. Take a look at this video of long lines at TSA checkpoint security lines stretching back 2 to 3 hours in cities like Houston and New Orleans, where staffing shortages are slowing that screening process, causing passengers to miss their flights. Officials say it's only going to get worse unless Congress comes together.
Why aren't we funding the Department of Homeland Security so people can travel freely, so we can have commerce, so people can go? This is a direct shot at the American people.
We are in a shutdown right now because we have a rogue and reckless organization.
The DHS has been without funding for 3 weeks now, and that means no paychecks for TSA workers. There have been several votes in Washington to restore the funding. All of those votes have failed as Democrats hold out for changes to immigration enforcement.
Chicago's coming up nearly 225,000 affordable rentals short, according to a new report. That's from the Housing Action Illinois and the National Low Income Housing Coalition. Right now, there are only 31 affordable homes for every 100 extremely low-income families.
A suspicious device turning up outside the mayor's mansion in New York.
And it all started with a protest. The police say it was inside and how close it came to disaster.
Spring break without breaking the bank. What travelers are doing a little bit different this year.
And I approve this message.
President Trump wants lawmakers to pass the Save America Act.
The president says he will not sign other bills until the measure reaches his desk. The bill requires all voters to show voter ID and proof of citizenship, banning most mail-in voting and including restrictions on transgender Americans and gender-affirming care for minors. This is important to note. If the president does not sign a bill within 10 days of receiving it from Congress, it automatically becomes law if Congress is in session.
New documents in the Epstein case now name President Trump. The records have a 2019 FBI interview with a South Carolina woman who says she was sexually assaulted by Trump and Epstein in the 1980s when she was in her early teens. The White House calls the allegations baseless. The DOJ says these records were held back before because of a coding error.
In New York City, police are investigating a suspicious device that was left in a car near the mayor's mansion. Police say it all started with an anti-Muslim protest over the weekend. Counter-prosecutors are also showing up and protesters, I should say, counter-protesters also showing up and allegedly throwing devices. City officials say one of the devices was an IED and that it could have killed someone. 6 people were arrested. Fortunately, no one was injured. The mayor and his wife weren't home when that protest occurred.
A woman's locked up after police say she shot at Rihanna's Beverly Hills mansion. Cops say she fired at least 10 shots from inside her Tesla. Bullet holes hit the gate and an RV that was in the driveway. Now, Riri was home, but she's okay. No word yet on why this happened. Well, a massive update for people who love to go to concerts. Live Nation and the Justice Department have reached a settlement in their antitrust battles. It's been going on for a long time. Now, this deal avoids a court-ordered breakup of the company and its subsidiary. Ticketmaster, instead, Live Nation has agreed to pay roughly $200 million reportedly in damages to participating states and will open its platform to rival ticket companies. While terms haven't been fully publicized, it marks the end of this long saga, and that began back in 2024.
I want my money back, right?
Yeah.
We got money coming back to us. We've spent a lot.
Money.
Okay, show me this picture, T. How beautiful is this?
Nice and blue.
It is an absolutely gorgeous day. What's the temperature going to feel like? Caitlin Cody has the answer.
A lot to discuss with our weather headlines the first half of the week especially. So first of all, today. Lovely weather. Record heat is expected. Highs in the low 70s. Right now, our record sits in the upper 60s. Although it is going to be a touch gusty, it really is going to be a nice day to be outside. We could see winds around 25 to 30 miles per hour. Heading into your Tuesday, we're talking about the potential for severe weather, especially later in the day on Tuesday into the evening. So I'm saying mid-afternoon through the evening and even overnight, we have the chance for severe thunderstorms in Chicago. With that, all hazards are possible. We could see tornadoes, damaging hail, and damaging wind on Tuesday, so make sure that you are weather aware. Then we move into Wednesday, and we're going to have cooler temperatures streaming in with the chance for rain showers turning over to a rain-snow mix, believe it or not. So here's our futurecast taking you through the rest of your day today. Temperatures in the low 70s expected for Chicago, southwestern areas closer to the mid-70s. A few clouds streaming in by this evening. This is 9:15, and you might see a touch of precipitation, some light sprinkle activity, especially southeast of I-80. And then heading into overnight hours and early tomorrow, there is the chance for some fog development. Temperatures starting off the day in the 50s. As mentioned, we are watching for that chance for severe storms later in the day, and our model is bringing these storms in closer to around 7 to 9 p.m. But really, anytime after 3 or 4 p.m., you need to be weather aware because of the thunderstorms rolling through. I'll show you your full forecast ahead.
Well, meteorological spring is here, and travel doesn't have to wreck your wallet. Try flying midweek or pick a spot that's off season in March for some better deals. Experts also say look for less popular cities with hidden gems that won't be packed with tourists.
People are still spending money on travel, but they're really going to be focused on value. In general, the hotels, the resorts, they've really had to try to control their increases in price because the overwhelming majority of consumers are very price conscious right now.
Experts also say call the front desk direct for hotel upgrades and discounts. Don't be shy about it.
So let the madness begin. The Big Ten tournament starts tomorrow at the United Center. Oregon and Maryland playing the opening game, and Penn State and Northwestern play the nighttime game. Illinois has a bye and won't play until Thursday. Tickets still available for tomorrow if you're interested. They start at $41. This is the 12th time the UC has hosted the Big Ten tournament. The last time was in 2023.
Governor Pritzker just announced a massive life sciences investment for Illinois.
Pharmaceutical company CSL Behring is investing $1.5 billion to build a new manufacturing facility in Kankakee County.
The governor says it'll bring at least 300 new jobs and boost the industry in Illinois.
Life sciences is an industry that is truly taking off in Illinois. This truly was a team effort. It took every one of us, each and every one of us from Team Illinois to ensure the foundation was laid for this project. It took all of us to ensure that CSL had the resources and the confidence to continue growing here among us.
The company already has about 1,200 people working in the state.
A breakfast staple could be harder to find very soon.
What's threatening Florida's orange groves like never before? Come on back.
Welcome back. It's 12:21. If you had orange juice with your breakfast, there's a pretty good chance you had Florida orange juice and a farmer there to thank for that. Right now, the state is in the middle of its worst drought in 25 years, and it's threatening all kinds of crops, especially those Florida oranges.
Yeah, Amy L. joins us live from Bartow, Florida at Dundee Citrus. Amy, this can't be good news in a state that provides nearly 20% of the nation's citrus.
No, it certainly is not. These extremely dry conditions are leading farmers to have to water their crops more to keep their plants alive. Now, the issue is that this can get costly really quickly. Irrigation is not cheap. Add to that the fact that the citrus industry has been dealing with citrus greening disease and the recent hurricanes, and it could mean trouble. Florida citrus is more than just a tasty snack.
It's definitely a lifeline to a lot of Floridians here. It's what they depend on.
But Mother Nature has been anything but dependable lately.
The hurricanes, the disease, and now drought.
Back in 2000, Florida's citrus industry covered around 900,000 acres. Now it's down to just over 200,000, according to the USDA.
It's farming with all the challenges that you have, but we're looking for a break right now.
Unfortunately, that break might not be coming anytime soon because 100% of Florida is in a drought, the state's worst dry spell in 25 years.
It's been challenging over the last year. During the bloom period, water is critical. It determines how well the fruit sizes and ultimately how large your crop will be.
Inside these white tents, Dundee Citrus has created a safe haven. Originally installed to prevent disease in plants, they're now also helping to manage soil moisture.
Everything is pumped through a series of pipes into this black tubing, and it's every tree has a very small emitter that puts out an amount of water.
It creates the perfect environment for growing healthy crops, even in these historically dry conditions.
This 10-acre pod will produce between 8,000 and 10,000 boxes per pod. The trees in this environment, they're happy. They grow faster than trees do in traditional outdoor groves, and they come into production quicker. So it's one way that we can really get the industry back on track.
Now, you're probably wondering whether all of this will affect prices at the store. According to the CEO of Dundee Citrus, we can't really predict what's going to happen next season quite yet. But as for right now, citrus prices have remained stable, even despite the recent freezes in Florida and, of course, this ongoing drought. Terrence?
All right. Thank you so much. We'll take it from here, and we'll be right back.
Winkle for board president.
Welcome back. It's 12:26. Here's a look at some of the stories that we're following for you this afternoon.
Gas is jumping again, y'all. Blame the Iran war. Nationwide, the average is $3.48 a gallon. In Illinois, it's $3.52. It's up 50 cents from last week. Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz. That's where a chunk of the world's oil comes through.
Major news in the entertainment industry. Live Nation has reached a settlement with the Department of Justice in its antitrust lawsuit. That deal allows Live Nation to avoid breaking up Live Nation and Ticketmaster, which Live Nation owns. The company has reportedly agreed to pay roughly $200 million in damages to participating states and will open its platform to rival ticketing companies. The legal saga began in 2024 due to skyrocketing ticket prices to Taylor Swift's Eras Tour.
The DHS shutdown is hitting airports all over the country. Security lines are 2 to 3 hours long in places like Houston and New Orleans. Not enough staff means screenings are dragging. People are missing flights left and right. DHS has been out of cash for 3 weeks now. TSA workers aren't getting paid. There have been several votes in Washington to bring the money back. All have failed. Democrats are holding out for immigration changes.
Let's take a live look outside. A glorious shot of our city. How beautiful is that? And a picture is worth 1,000 words because it's actually, for a change, T, it's actually as nice outside as this picture is showing us. How about that?
And shall it continue? I don't know, but I know who does.
Let's
hey,
find
Caitlin.
out.
It's a lovely day. We've got sunny skies, warm temperatures, and a bit of a breeze. So highs today are going to be pushing into the 70s for most. I expect to be right around 72 degrees, or record-breaking high at O'Hare. The wind is going to feel nice with the blue sky. This evening, we do have the potential for a little bit of drizzle, especially southeast of the city. Overnight tonight, temperatures in the 40s and 50s. A quiet night generally. We could see a touch of fog develop into early tomorrow. And then tomorrow, we are talking about the potential for strong to severe thunderstorms. Temperature-wise, a huge range from the 50s north of the city to the 70s south of the city. Chicago sandwiched right in the middle. A good mix of the 50s expected tomorrow as our high. But the bigger headline is going to be that chance for severe weather, especially by mid-afternoon on into the evening and even the overnight tomorrow night. Here's your futurecast for today. We just have that southerly wind, as mentioned, blue sky for everyone. This evening, a few clouds south, and then tomorrow morning, we could see that fog. So talking about that chance for severe weather, we do have an enhanced risk, level 3 of 5 from Chicago points south, and a slight risk, level 2 of 5, Chicago points north. Timeline around 3 to 4 p.m. on through the early overnight. But even as we head into Wednesday, we are going to have rain in the forecast. That could lead to some ponding, some puddling, and even flooding instances throughout Chicagoland. On Wednesday, though, temperatures are dropping too, so that's something to keep in mind as you prepare for your day. We could see that chance for rain turn over to a rain-snow mix. On Thursday, quiet weather, 46 degrees with sunshine, and then on Friday, 48. This weekend, highs are going to be hovering in the upper 40s with a chance for wet weather around, including that rain-snow mix for the second half of the weekend. So in the meantime today, the rest of the day will be lovely. Temperatures in the low 70s with that sunny sky. And tomorrow, again, have multiple ways to receive warnings in case we do have severe storms in our area.
We are now in the home stretch for the 2026 primary races, and they are getting intense.
Better believe it. Campaign commercials are everywhere. Special interest money is just flooding airwaves. Paris Schutz is here as we're counting down. It's getting close, right?
Yeah, Terrence and Sylvia, 76,300 plus Chicago voters don't want to wait till Tuesday. As we know, the primary is next Tuesday, and early voting is outpacing its total by about 2 to 1 in previous years. Now, the reason for this is probably because there are so many competitive races right now, and that's unusual for Illinois. So let's just remind voters, unless they haven't been watching TV in the last few weeks, what these races are. Of course, you've got the Senate race. You've got Democrats duking it out there and Republicans in the Republican primary. The 2nd congressional, the 7th congressional, over on the west side of Chicago, 8th congressional over in the western suburbs, and then the 9th congressional in the north side of Chicago and some of the northern suburbs. So these are the big races drawing out the folks to the voting booths and drawing, according to an Axios Chicago study, $18 million now in special interest PAC money as these big national special interests are very interested in Illinois to try and shape the races.
That is fascinating. We should talk about that, because why are these special interest groups getting involved? And some of the commercials that we have been seeing, wow, you know?
And you just saw there, so if we could see that graphic again, because that graphic kind of explains 3 buckets, and Axios did a really nice summary of this. 3 buckets of special interest. So you've got AIPAC, obviously that's the American Israeli lobbying group, and they have these quote-unquote front groups, United Democracy Project, Elect Chicago Women, Affordable Chicago Now. So when you see a commercial that says, this is brought to you by Affordable Chicago Now, it's a front group for AIPAC. We know that the Israeli issue, especially with the war in Iran, is big right now. The Israeli lobby wants Congress people that will continue to fund and support Israel, obviously a big issue. Then you've got AI. So if you see something that says this is brought to you by Think Big, that is an AI industry-backed group that is getting involved in some of these races. They've backed Jesse Jackson Jr., by the way, in the 2nd Congressional District. And then you've got the crypto industry also getting involved, Fair Shake PAC, and they've spent big here in the 9th Congressional, I'm sorry, in the 7th Congressional as well, opposing LaShawn Ford. So, you know, you've got, and then we should mention AIPAC. They've supported Donna Miller in the 2nd Congressional District, Melissa Conyers-Ervin in the 7th, and Melissa Bean in the 8th. So these are the folks that they think are going to be sympathetic to the Israeli cause. But, you know, what do they want? They want to elect Congress people that will go easy on them. So the AI industry, you see a lot of talk about regulations on AI to kind of control. So the AI industry is getting together, pooling their resources, saying, let's elect people, spend money on them, and hope that maybe they'll go easy on us. Same with crypto. As you see Congress debating, well, what kind of regulation should we put on Bitcoin and other crypto? So crypto's getting involved in the game, and clearly they see these Illinois races as ones they believe they can influence. Now, if you ask these candidates, they'll say, well, that's the PAC, and we're not allowed to coordinate with the PAC, so we don't know what they're doing. They can do whatever they're doing.
They can honestly say we don't know what they're doing, even though they're endorsing them?
Yes. Yeah, and we had, when we did the Senate debate, Juliana Stratton, some of the others criticized her for some money that she had gotten from contractors with DHS. Krishnamurthy had also gotten some, and she said, well, there's a PAC, and we're not allowed to coordinate. And same thing here. So in the 9th Congressional, we did and that was because of the Supreme Court Citizens United ruling. It allowed these PACs, this quote-unquote dark money groups, to exist, to support or oppose a candidate, but they have to be totally separate from that candidate's campaign, and that candidate cannot coordinate. So theoretically, they have no idea who's spending to support them. Theoretically, but, you know, are they whispering? Is someone talking to someone? We don't know. So in the 9th Congressional, that's a great example. We did that debate. Go on the YouTube to watch that debate. That's with Kata Bazala, Daniel Biss, and Laura Fine. The issue of AIPAC was huge in that race. And Fine and Biss said, well, Fine was the one receiving the AIPAC support. She's saying, but that's my PAC. You know, so that's kind of how they get out of it. But these special interests obviously spending big all over the country, but especially in Illinois.
Because the average voter can't distinguish between those things.
And that's why we tried to put that.
I think it's great that you bring this up.
I think we'll talk about it more on Chicago Report, but you're seeing all these ads, and they say these groups that sound like Affordable Chicago Now. That's an AIPAC front group. Fair Shake. That's a crypto front group. So if we can kind of explain what you're seeing, who these groups are and what they represent, maybe it gives you a better idea of who's trying to influence these races.
That's another reason why you should have a cheat sheet when you go
that's so
to
true.
vote.
Yes, absolutely. We'll definitely have a cheat sheet for the judges.
Okay.
Get one of those.
That's what we need.
Get one of those cheat sheets, because no one can keep track of all those judges, who to retain and who to drop.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't call it a cheat sheet. It's more like Spark Notes.
Yeah.
Because you're not cheating. You're allowed to do it.
It's hard to remember all of that. So absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll be right back after this. Spark Notes. All right, another snack recall just dropped. Frito-Lay is pulling Mrs. Vicky's spicy dill pickle chips over an allergy issue. The 8-ounce bags might have jalapeno chips instead and undeclared milk. If you do have a dairy allergy, obviously do not eat these chips at all.
Nintendo is now suing the Trump administration over its tariffs. This move coming after the Supreme Court's decision to strike down Trump's tariffs last month. The Japan-based video game manufacturer says it raised its prices on several accessories after the tariffs were announced last year. The company, which says it's experienced harm from the import taxes, is now asking for a prompt refund of the fees that it has already paid. Well, the Mag Mile is losing yet another popular department store.
Saks Fifth Avenue is shutting down at 700 North Michigan. This is part of a big wave of closings, hitting stores all over. Saks is shutting down 11 spots while it deals with Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Saks Global is closing some Neiman Marcus spots too, but the Neiman Marcus on Michigan is staying open.
Taking a live look at the New York Stock Exchange right now, you can see those numbers, the Dow trading below 500 points. And it's time to look at your business headlines with CJ Papa.
Oil prices surging to over $100 a barrel for the first time since 2022, surging more than 45% in a week as the Middle East conflict disrupts production and shipping. Meanwhile, AAA says the national average for a gallon of regular is up to $3.47. It was under $3 just a week ago.
We live in a country where tens of billions of people look at high gasoline prices like the great saint. So we need to get the Strait of Hormuz reopened, and things will calm down quite a bit.
American auto giant Ford is in hot water for sweeping recalls on nearly every model since the year 2020, with one exception, the discontinued GT. And in 2025, Ford set a record for the most recalls issued by a single automaker in a single year, at more than 150. That's double the previous record of 77 set by General Motors in 2014. And Oracle is expected to slash thousands of jobs on the heels of massive spending on AI-focused data centers. The company could cut 20 to 30,000 jobs this month, according to Bloomberg News. Wall Street analysts expect Oracle to be cash flow negative for years. That's business. CJ Papa, Fox Chicago.
All right, USA has been labeled the dream team in the World Baseball Classic.
But tonight, it is facing its biggest threat in the group. A live report ahead of the big matchup.
All right, tonight, here's what's going down. The World Baseball Classic is in Houston. Team USA takes on Mexico. Team USA is 2-0 after beating Brazil and Great Britain.
Very exciting, and Sarah Legre is live in Houston. And Sarah, the U.S. is getting ready for a sold-out crowd, a big night ahead.
Hey there, Terrence and Sylvia. Absolutely. I mean, this is the game so many fans have been waiting for in Mexico, coming off some great wins as well. They're now also undefeated. And yeah, like you said, sold out crowd tonight. I mean, tickets have been sold out for months now, and we're expecting fans truly from all over to congregate here inside Daikin Park later tonight. And guys, this is the biggest matchup in the pool here. Lots of eyes on both Team USA and Team Mexico. From chants in the stands to decked out gear, the rivalry is just as loud off the field as it is on it. Mexico, Mexico, Mexico. Both Team USA and Mexico enter tonight's matchup undefeated so far, and some fans traveled a long way to see it in person.
We've been watching a lot of USA highlights on TV, so we decided to make a father-son trip out here to Houston.
While Team USA is a baseball powerhouse, Mexico has given the Stars and Stripes some trouble.
The U.S. has had their hands full with them in this tournament the last couple of installments of it. I certainly haven't forgotten about it.
Mexico beat the U.S. 3 times in the last 4 World Baseball Classics, including an 11-5 win in Phoenix 3 years ago.
Got the right guy on the mound in Paul Skeens, stacked bullpen, awesome lineup, and we'll get after it.
But tonight, both teams are bringing their top stars in signatures. And with a die-hard fan base on both sides, no matter who you're rooting for, this matchup feels like a home game.
We're definitely looking forward to that U.S.-Mexico game because they got a fantastic team over there.
Yeah, you just heard from team captain Aaron Judge. He says the guys are definitely pumped for tonight. Mexico as well. I mean, they're coming off that great win from last night. Completely dominated Brazil, 16-0, guys. This marked the 3rd largest margin of victory in World Baseball Classic history. So lots of talent we're definitely going to see on the diamond. Terrence, Sylvia.
Sarah, question for you. What's at stake for tonight's game?
Well, whoever wins tonight's game at Terrence, it's looking like they're going to be in the best position to move forward to the quarterfinals, meaning they're booking that trip to Miami. The loser, though, still got something to prove if they don't come out on top tonight. They have a chance to beat Italy in that final game in order to advance, but we shall see. We've got a team of fighters here on the field tonight.
Okay, should be fun. Look forward to that. Thanks so much. We'll be right back.
A disease once thought to be wiped out is back, and the CDC is issuing warnings.
Yeah, Anita is in the Chicago Live studio to talk about the new concern over polio. Anita.
Good afternoon to you both. Yeah, we've talked so much about measles lately and the impact of vaccine hesitancy that I don't think, this news about polio really comes as a shocker or a big surprise for many people. But this is specifically about international travel, and we want to go ahead and page Dr. David Wynn. We love calling on him when we have some questions in the medical community. He's from Rush University Medical Center. Thanks for joining us again today.
For having me again.
Let's just right off the top talk about the typical symptoms of polio and how it spreads.
Yeah, so measles is most people with not measles, polio. Most people with polio will be asymptomatic, but a very small percentage of people will go on to have that famous paralysis that is polio is well known for, from cases from before we had the vaccine in this country. The virus is spread by through feces. So if you're not washing your hands and ingesting contaminated, food or water, that could be a way to get the virus.
When we talk about a level 2 advisory for something like this, what does that even mean?
Well, for the CDC, it just means that people should take a little bit extra precaution in their travel when they're traveling to the very long list of countries that they listed there that are having circulating polio cases.
I've seen a long list of places in parts of Africa, the Middle East, and Europe where polio has been detected in the last 12 months. So what is a vaccine schedule like for polio, and who should be getting it?
Yeah, so the vaccine in this country, the vaccine is given in early childhood, and those are that's who should be getting it. And then beyond that, some adults will now, with this travel advisory, they're advising that adults who previously had it, even completed this series, can get a booster before travel to one of those countries. And beyond that, certain people who might be traveling to those countries and are maybe high risk because of a immunosuppressing condition that they have may want to consider a booster as well.
Okay, Dr. Wynn, thank you so much. We, again, appreciate always being able to call on you, especially when new things come up. Now, I don't know, are you good at crossword puzzles?
Okay, Adam.
That's going to be the next thing we talk about. I'll let you go. But the Chicago Sun-Times has a new mini crossword puzzle that's getting a lot of buzz. And so we're going to be talking about that on Chicago Live today. We're also going to be getting a preview of the Inspired Home show starting tomorrow to see all of the latest products and the innovations that are out. We have so many regular viewers also that love our space chats. So we've called in the European Space Agency to talk about new images of 3I Atlas, and the Lawndale Christian Development Corporation has just named an awardee, or been named an awardee, for a massive grant to build a first of its kind indoor sports and community complex for the West Side. So I'm looking forward to having a conversation with their executive director very soon as well. It's all between the hours of 1 and 4 p.m. on Chicago Live today. So we hope that you'll join us. You can join us on YouTube, the Fox Local app, or at fox32chicago.com. So I will see you beginning at 1 o'clock online. And of course, Terrence and Sylvia will see you right after this break.
and I approve this message.
All right, y'all, we're having a good time up here. Hope you're having a good time wherever you are as well. Get outside today. You know what I'm saying? You might need a little light jacket.
Who cares? Just get some sunshine. It'll be good for your disposition, right?
Wear the sunscreen, too. You still need it, yes, even in the winter. Here's one final check of your forecast. Hey, Caitlin.
Lovely weather today. Blue sky, 72 degrees. A wind coming in out of the southwest up to 25 miles per hour. Tonight, 50, partly cloudy, quiet, perhaps a little bit of fog into early tomorrow. Tomorrow's high temperature right around 60. We're going to have a wide spread of temperatures, cooler north, warmer south, with the chance for strong to severe thunderstorms in the afternoon, the evening, and tomorrow night. 47 degrees expected as our high on Wednesday. That rain turning over to a rain-snow mix, and then finally a quiet day of weather on Thursday, a high of 46 degrees, 48 to end the week Friday, and then this upcoming weekend, we expect the upper 40s with a chance for precipitation returning. So today, it is going to be a beautiful, lovely day in Chicagoland to get outside, soak up the sunshine, record heat, a little bit of a breeze, and then tomorrow, make sure you have multiple ways to receive warnings in case we do have severe thunderstorms in Chicagoland.
Wow, 72 will feel incredible.
You know, this makes me want to do. It makes me want to clean out my balcony and start thinking about planting. What do you think?
Do you need help?
Yeah, come on over.
No, call somebody
You can make
else.
some lemon drops for me.
Oh, I'll be the bartender, but I'm not cleaning anything.